Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we're here to watch some Gundam Double O. Start off as always, we got a couple new comments to go over, so let's go and
Actually,
see what
I'd
everyone has to say.
like to interrupt you there, Griff.
No, how could you?
Well, the thing is, something's been rattling around in the back of my mind. And you know the greatest
Mhm.
part of it is the people who comment don't typically listen to this part of the episode, so I'm just talking to you, really, if you think about it.
You have an uninterrupted theater to speak to.
Yeah. Well, there's been a rash of comments lately that's been coming up in our feed, and I would say 90% of people who are commenting and watching, good people. Enjoy the comments, enjoy the interaction, it's fine. And what I want to speak to isn't so much the other 10%, it's more what's creating that 10%, I feel like.
hmm
Like, for instance, do you enjoy this, Griff, what we're doing here?
Yeah, this is fun. We watch anime, we make fun of it, or sometimes pay attention.
Or, I mean, more specifically, Gundam 00. Do you like watching Gundam 00?
Yeah, I probably would just independently keep watching if we decided we weren't going to record.
Right, and I feel like that we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't enjoying it,
hmm
which I think begs the question. Actually, doesn't beg any question. I don't. I think that's a
Maybe you're
transition.
using back the question wrong, but continue anyway.
I know it's just a normal transition that I'm used to. I throw it out there, kind of like LOL at the end of a sentence, just to follow through, so you don't think I'm yelling at you. But my rant here is about fandoms, right? I
hmm
want to I want to take the commenters in the audience here and compare them against another fandom for a show that we are currently watching. Say Made in Abyss. Right. When the Made in Abyss people think that we're being too jokey, or that in the course of watching a show we may have said something and missed a thing, our Made in Abyss fans just post the stuff that we're missing because they love the show and they want us to love the show. That's a
They, they,
happy.
they're they're great commenters. We love all of them.
Yeah, despite how horrible the world of Made in Abyss is, they're a happy fandom. They're like, we love the show, and we want to share in the love of the show. Now, a lot of the comments we get for Gundam 00 are the same way. They're, hey, you missed this fact, or hey, I don't think you realize that this is going on because the way you're talking about it. So let me share with you what the Gundam names are after, or why these characters are doing this, and you're questioning and missing. But there is a sizable portion of the commenting audience which I feel are hateful. It's the only way I can throw that out there.
Welcome to YouTube, everyone. Sometimes there are jerks rolling around. We hate them. I guess there is something to probably be said about like the reaction to create critique spectrum that exists and the social experiment that it is of just sitting around watching a thing and watching other people watching a thing and getting the enjoyment of that. We're here as a reaction channel to just have fun watching a thing with you, to respond to you how you like it and respond how we like it, and basically just kind of have a conversation around it. That reactions are that sort of casual social experience. Even negative theta here wants to be friends. We should all strive to be so. And speaking of friendships, let's talk about our new friend Raid Shadow Legends. Let's see what people are saying about it. Log Lung says, I say cyber new type. Rather than new types, well, there are three types of cyber new types in this show. Yeah, that's my comment. Funny fact, Season 1 Celestial Being Ship is unarmed. Yeah, it did not defend itself at all during that whole fight, did it? So it's got nothing except the Gundams, which why would you need more? It also has like the same impenetrable technology shield, right?
One, I was 100% thrown off by the transition from Raid Shadow Legends to Log Hey Long's comment. Two, if you recall during Witch from Mercury, we had a whole conversation about cyber new types and how they relate to different forms of Gundam media.
Mhm.
Specifically, how is a Elon is a version of cyber new type. and how cyber new types were a transition from a comment Amuro makes in original Gundam to God, I don't know. We never, you and I both haven't watched super deep into original Gundam.
Right. I guess just generally the concept of new type is, of course, the evolution of mankind in some general way. And here we've seen at least one cyber new type, but we got the hint. There's two more types up ahead.
Well,
Oh, I'm
no,
excited actually.
well, wait, do you mean when you said we've seen one cyber new type, what do you mean?
We've seen one type of cyber new type, the type that has the quantum brainwaves that specifically comes from the one academy that got blown
Okay,
up.
argument would be that that's actually more of a basic new type. I think Elon in Witch from Mercury would be an example of a cyber new type.
I would definitely say the language we're using is probably heavily imprecise, but I would probably just say, we could just go ahead and label anyone who's engineered to be a new type cyber new
Well,
type, and that's fun. It's fine. The androids are just cyborgs. It's
no, in
okay.
original Gundam, what a new type is when humans go to space, they start to evolve in
Yeah.
new and different ways, and that is like the psychic powers is what a new type is. A cyber new type is then obviously what they're doing, which from Mercury, where they're upgrading people to be able to live in space, and then it's giving them powers that are beyond human. So it tends to be a space evolution for humans.
Yeah, like time, language is wibbly wobbly. That's going to be my final statement.
Well, I just think that we can establish basis of comparison where
Mhm. Oh,
um,
absolutely, yeah.
the quantum thing that we're getting in Gundam 00 is obviously a thing that's being done to people, but at the same time, it's like biological and not cybernetic. I think
Yeah.
we can at least go down to those basic definitions of terms.
I don't know. Maybe they have a cell phone implant in their head too. We
Um,
haven't. No one's said yet. Anyway,
well, when it comes to the ship, I think you'll find that the Gundams are a defense or an armament in their own.
right. It,
Like,
it it should be enough that the ship doesn't need a gun or something.
well, it said it has this invincible shield around it that
Yeah,
that
their
the
two defensive strategies are stealth and shield,
well, I mean that the
and then
Gundam
Gundam.
can sit inside the shield and shoot things through it, which is basically just having a turret on your ship. So,
Mhm. Space People here says the Gundams are all connected to the Veda. The HRL use the detection net of comm drones because the GN particles render the Gundams invisible to radar, sort of like in TNG, where they use tachyon particles to detect cloak Romulan ships.
which I
Oh
will,
man, oh that's a reference right there. Hell yeah, Space People,
yeah,
you're a favorite.
I will say
Also, yes, live long and
I
prosper.
responded to them with the comment that I might not have followed the actual Gundam example that they threw out, despite having watched the episode. But the moment that they gave the TNG example, it's like, oh yeah, no, yeah, a tachyon net, so they can determine if Romulan ships are passing between them. Totally understand that.
Mhm.
I watched
It
enough TNG Neutral Zone episodes to know what the Tasha Yar descendant is up to.
Yeah. I think they've actually gone over a couple times the invisible to radar stuff, but usually it's like very short lines. I think the Comnet was like the most obvious. We're using a method to find them that even if they were invisible, we'd find them.
Well, despite us having this worldwide hula hoop around the planet filled with like
Look,
sensor detection grids, we can't seem to spot
astronomy's hard, man.
we can't seem to spot the Gundams flying around the planet. All I'm saying is, can we not detect the GN particles themselves?
I guess they don't know how to, because there's just the one really smart scientist who figured it out, and then he died 200 years ago, and now somehow there's technology about it, and no one else has done anything about it.
I appreciate
So,
that a
yeah,
guy 200 years ago developed the GN particle, and then 200 years go by, and nobody decides to look into it. There's no scientific research at all.
well, it was discovered 200 years ago. One second.
So
I need a.
1800s.
Yeah. It was
Telephone? Was that,
radium.
was not the telephone, was that
Oh,
Morse
that's still
code?
1911.
Morse code was, 1800s, right?
Yes, I think so.
So that's signal across wire.
Right, so it's like, alright, right now, someone is using a version of Morse code or telegraphic communication, and we're just like, we've never seen this before.
Right, you know what they
But,
did with that, right? They set up poles and charged people for it and
mhm.
made a whole interconnection industry that challenged the carrier, sorry, not carrier, courier systems of the time. You
I
know,
guess, I guess they just had other things that hooked on better, and people were just like, it's not worth the investment. Who
I mean,
knows?
what happened first? Morse code challenges the, yeah, what was the horse courier system at the time?
Just Pony Express, I guess,
I
would
said
have been
Pony
like the
Express, right?
big name of it, but I mean,
Yeah, what came
just
first?
couriers via horse is
What
fine.
came first? Morse code versus Pony Express, or John Henry versus the steam engine, or the
Pony Express.
because that's John Henry's the one everyone always goes to, but
Yeah, that happened way later.
but it just
I'm pretty
means the
sure.
it's the one I would think is in most people's mind of man versus machine.
Mhm. So let's see. Let's check out our next comment. Genre NG says, glial cells are support cells for the nervous system. There are three types of the cell. You can Google it up. It's not just some made up cell for the sake of the story. Celestial being is supported by many people and organizations. Those people are known as observers. They do not fight, but they just play the roles of spectator. They observe and evaluate the progress of celestial beings' armed interventions. They also advocate Aola Scheinberg's ideas. Ideals. Blah blah blah. Uh cool. Hey, we learned a new biology fact, which has always been my absolute worst subject.
Well,
I can claim to know a lot of things, but biology I definitely don't.
I mean, nothing bad has ever happened from advocating the political ideals of people that have been dead for hundreds of years. I can't think of one example.
There. Sometimes dead people have good ideas, and sometimes they have bad ideas.
Well, it turns to be
But
that the people who are alive today don't tend to fully embody those ideals. I think the greatest example of that is everybody that always said that communism never really got a good shot because Marxism is not how communism was practiced. And the best example I can think of that is you're going to hate me, Griff, because this is going to be something you're going to hate.
sure, sure.
The Jordan Peterson argument that
Ah,
that you are 100% living up your own ass if you think, given the power of the people who tried to practice communism, that you would not be tainted by it and probably do similar things to what those people did, or that somebody wouldn't shoot you in the back of the head to get the power that you had as you tried to be the 100% moral, right person that you claim to be.
right. And it is helpful that I have the anarchist position here of that's not entirely off base. Saying the state will just wither away is probably naive at best, because once you have power, you're not giving it up. So the anarchist ideal is to get rid of it and not just assume it will go away.
I mean, I will say that
But
I would,
that's so not what we're here for today.
I would 100% enjoy the communist state. I just know that it would never exist because man
I,
is too fallible.
I would love just more housing for homeless people, or people in general, and maybe things like food and medicine. Those would be great things. I have very low standards right now.
Well, I think that's the
Let's
benefit.
settle basic needs for humans, and we'll work from there.
I mean, I think that's one of the benefits, right? Is that the top 1% get brought down to a median state, and all those people that are suffering,
Mhm.
all those people that are in need, get brought up to the same median state. That a balance effect is in order. And
A redistribution of wealth, if you would.
communism,
Speaking of redistribution of wealth, so the observer or spectator thing is kind of interesting, and I'm wondering
my very
specifically.
first comment to
Yeah.
that is Was that a spoiler? Because I don't remember that. And possibly we've been introduced to characters who are doing it, and
I
we have
think we
been.
have been introduced to characters who are doing it. I think specifically like the sort of like Asian political-ish character we've been following every now and then, right?
Oh, hold
She
on.
will appear, say a couple of things, but doesn't seem to be involved in
I've got
action.
a folder open here that I've tried to associate names to pictures.
Yes,
Wang,
please give me a name.
I
Let's
believe you're
work with it.
talking about Wang Lu Mei. Wang Lu
That could
Mai.
very well be it. I believe she is very much that spectator character here, or represents the wider breadth of them.
If that's true, I believe she was also in the very first episode in that party uh, when the
Yes.
space station
Yeah.
gets attacked.
Yes, she was. So yeah, I think she's one of those spectators, and that's her perspective into it. She obviously hasn't been like elaborated on super much. Like, oh yes, I love how this is going. I'm sending another 100 billion to celestial being. She hasn't stated something like that in text or something. I don't think.
Wait, that's why I
Um,
was saying. That's
but it
why
makes
my
sense that that's maybe how it goes.
that's why my first question is a spoiler because we've never seen direct action on those words. I mean, hearing the words and looking back in hindsight could be, and I mean now we know it is because someone's told us, but we've never
I
seen it.
Yeah, I think even if we don't, if we just don't consider it a spoiler here, it does give us a perspective to look at characters and ask, is this why they're behaving kind of weirdly? And I think that actually might give us a better understanding of what's going on.
I think everybody in this show acts weirdly.
Okay, to weirder than normally weird.
I can't remember if this is a statement slash conversation we've had on Gundam 00
Uh,
where we attached so easily to the Witch from Mercury characters because they were given to us as characters first, and then the strife slash conflict was given to us after. Whereas, I mean, Gundam 00 does it sort of with Setsuna's um, early thing.
yeah.
Gundam 00 has a sort of Iron Blooded Orphans slash Wish from Mercury sort of intro. In that you remember in Iron Blooded Orphans, we see um, Orga and Mikazuki as children on the street, and Mikazuki's holding a gun, and there's a dead body.
hmm
And then we kind of get like an episode of them, like with the under the thumb of the man, as it were.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
and in
We haven't quite gotten that yet.
yeah, well, no, we did. In this Gundam 00, we had Setsuna as a youth in a war-torn country having to deal with that. That's very much the holding a gun over a dead guy in the IBO motif.
Yeah.
But after that, they all turned into psychopaths. I don't know how to frame it. They're all very distant because of the PTSD of their lives, and it makes it very weird to try and connect to them. The most human of them all is the woman who's like their director, who goes off to drink her worries away. And
And our Irish boy.
sort of. I mean, he's still the most human, if not still very distant. And that's my problem is I feel like we got dropped into their stories halfway through. We didn't
Yeah,
get
I
the
would agree on
we
that.
didn't get the connective tissue that makes them characters that I would be able to relate with. Their story isn't one that I feel like it's not easy to get into.
I think like my perspective on it in general here is if Sasuna is like coded as the main character, I don't feel like the past 12 episodes has been Setsuna's story or anything, right? It's very much been a, like you said, drop in the middle of the action, and now we're seeing how they're going as a group, and then later it's going to backtrack to them as individuals more and more.
I mean, it's very easy to say that it's been more his story than anyone else's.
Also fair,
Because we
yes.
get, shoot, hold on, what's his name? I've
Hallelujah.
got it over here. No, I mean, yeah, I was gonna bring him up in a second. Then
Yeah, like a
we've,
3 episode arc.
yeah, I mean, still, I was gonna say Ali Al Suches. I was about to call him Sanchez. Ali Al Suches, which is the guy's voice that we heard in the very first episode, the red-haired guy that he was about to give it all away to in the
Oh,
other
yeah, yeah.
episode. Yeah, between that, the flashbacks, and the current storyline that we're in now, it's very much been mostly his story. Those 3 episodes that we got with Alleluia and his multiple personality disorder are very much a side story to that.
But still a significant part of view time so far.
Well, I mean, it's like saying that Hiro Yui wasn't the main character of Gundam Wing, right?
Right, right. There's technically like a lot of different perspectives going around in Gundam 00 here. And it's trying not to monopolize around exactly one character. So it's understandable that it feels maybe a little bit split attention, but I'm hoping like all these threads come together in a very satisfying way. That's like the ultimate expectation, right?
I mean, I'm still waiting for. God, what is his name? Do I have a picture
You're
of
looking
them
for
up
the
here?
students?
No. I mean, I do love them. They're fun.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the guys. One of the Gundam Meisters. Quick, name all the Gundam Meisters. Griff, help me out.
Setsuna, Hallelujah, Irish Boy, and the fourth one.
I think there's more than 4. God, where is he? I thought I had a picture of him. Sorry, I only took ones that I recognized, so if I didn't recognize them. No, it's not Saji. No, Saji is the guy living next to Setsuna. It's not.
Yeah, Saji's the student dude.
Oh, it's God, I don't know. Do we call him Earday? Tyria Earday? That's the guy. Sorry, my pictures were too small. I didn't recognize him off the bat. Um, my hope is that Earday is in fact cybernetic organism. I hope he's an AI. I hope he's not really a human being.
That would be a hilarious twist on Gundam. I'd be ready for it.
Well, I think because we saw
S-
that one scene where he's like floating in a room, it's just all computers, and he's not like
mhm.
doing anything. He never has any like human connection. So my hope is that he's just a fucking computer.
We're going with our this was the cyber world perspective the whole time, and we didn't tell you. There you
Well,
go. We got our Tokyo 24th Ward
I want him
reference.
to get like shot in the head. I just look like you know Archer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when a Krieger bots like gets shot, just you know. I just want him to be a computer.
All right. So I think that's it for comments. Let's go ahead and just quickly go over what happened last time, just to kind of get it back into our heads, right? Last time was To the Limits of Holy Teaching. An imam named Masad Shamadi is kidnapped by an unknown militant group, which leads to riots in the Azadistani population against the military called in to guard the city. Celestial being and the Union Army begin to intervene with the radical factions in the uh, as Azadistani military attack loyalist forces, guarding the solar antenna to link up to the orbital elevator. As Celestial Being and Graham's forces grudgingly face off against rebel mobile suits, Setsuna is forced to relive the events of his traumatic past. Oh, right. This was the episode where he goes back, sees literally his traumatic past happening directly in front of him, where he's also the cause of it, and then freezes for apparently an entire day.
Seems like it. He gets the
He's having a bit of an episode and needs some help, honestly.
Gurren Lagann scene where what's his name sees his dead dad's corpse on the ground.
Wish I knew more about Gurren Lagann for you.
You never watched Gurren Lagann?
I did not.
You know what you gotta do?
Congratulations, it's going on the list.
Alright, Patreon viewers, get up there, get to our highest tier, make us watch Gurren Lagann.
I will definitely watch it for $20. Do we have any commentary from last time we want to go ahead and bring up here before we move into it? What do we remember we want to keep a focus on? Because this
Um,
is the whole Azadistani arc where, of course, the princess is trying to get that energy in. Everyone wants to keep doing oil. This is technically Iran, apparently, etc.
I don't remember. Was the UN guy trying to plot an assassination, or am I just misremembering?
I believe the assistant gave the implication of why would the princess ever go out alone by herself? This is clearly an assassination attempt in the making. And we both agreed immediately, yeah, this is incredibly suspicious, isn't it? And then the UN observer goes, oh, no, no, we'll definitely be guarding you.
And I think the other major factor to keep in mind is that the people that are trying to commit the coup d'etat against the
Uh-huh.
princess, their leader is not 100% against her.
Mhm.
He's just representing the other side because he recognizes that they need to be represented. Otherwise, it would become more extreme than they actually are.
Right, they have like this weird friendship and also this weird Star Wars scenario where they are technically both the same side-ish. Which is also weird.
Well, no, I mean they have different ideals that they represent, and that was painted out fully last episode. But again, it's more so that if he didn't represent them, then they would go off doing crazier shit than if he wasn't representing them.
Mhm.
I guess the whole there has to be an anarchist leader, otherwise you guys are fucking insane.
That's the thing about the anarchists. They don't have a leader. You can't keep just doing that.
Except that
Um,
there
but
tends to
but these
be
but
other.
these aren't anarchists. These are literally like religious fundamentalist oil tycoons, I suppose.
Well, I'm using it as an example.
Or maybe this is a grounds up worker movement. I'm not sure what their ideology is beyond we are religious and like oil.
Well, no, they're a political movement, but they're a political movement in the sense
Hmm.
that what do you call it? When the government itself is also political, like a
Name a government that's not political.
but sorry, I'm not religious.
Sorry,
I
continue.
what I was trying to go for was a theocratic state. That they're a theocratic
Ah,
state
yeah, yeah.
because the same God, I can't remember his name. The starts with an M. Mahulal. It's the title of his position for Islamic Islamic political states. That their position is as a religious
Mhm.
leader that holds political power.
Gotcha, gotcha. I think I see what you're going for here. Okay, that could also make
Well,
sense.
because obstinately, despite being 200 years in our future, it is based on a real world.
Hmm.
That's why it's Ad Domino, because we live in the real world in the Ad Domino timeline.
Right.
That's what AD stands for.
So while I don't like fully understand like everyone's political goals here maybe in Azetistan, that's kind of fine. It's okay if it's a little fuzzy, it doesn't have to be super particular. Gundam is about the consequences of war and its tragedies. Not necessarily evaluating real world ideologies and weighing them against each other.
Tends to be.
The thing
Actually, it
that's
tends to be.
okay.
I
But
thought you
more
were going to
specific.
say it doesn't matter because we're Americans and we don't live there.
Oh my gosh, no. I was gonna say the thing that sticks out to me is, of course, the friendship, but also I'm doing a coup against you. I'm doing the friendly coup. Um, because it comes down to this perspective that the only valid discourse is that which is polite with each other. But are they
Oh, here
really
it
like
comes.
having a friendly, polite discourse with each other if one side is trying to kill and usurp the other one?
Here we go. The anarchist cookbook coming out. The only real discourse is
Is
force.
there what I'm saying is that it is sort of a liberal idea slapped on top of basically a conflict of like we can be friends and have opposing viewpoints. It's like no, these opposing viewpoints are clearly violently contradictory.
Well, I guess I represent the liberal side of that, but I feel like all disagreements can be settled with civil discourse, because you know what the opposite is? A waste of resources. And you know what resources are? Finite in the long scheme of things. That's why you have
But not
people.
if we have the solar elevator.
Well, see, I don't think we don't live in a world in Gundam 00 where like Star Trek replicators exist or anything like that.
Mhm.
So free energy doesn't beget free resources, right? Just because I can supply the entire nation with free power doesn't mean that I can build free housing or I can have unlimited free food. That's separate from free energy.
I I do have to wonder the specific economics of the space elevator and the distribution of energy, and if people are still paying
Oh,
for
I'm
it.
100% sure it's not free.
But
I was just giving
yeah,
I was
I'm starting to
giving
wonder here
I
too.
was giving the example from the ideal that if we lived in
Mhm.
a post scarcity world, right? Or well, not post scarcity, obviously it's not the example. Post
Yeah, yeah,
power scarcity, I don't know what the terminology for that is. That power is free, we have mastered energy production, that the world would still fight over other resources because resources are finite. And
it wouldn't
the
solve
fight
all problems, obviously.
that
Yeah,
the
but
fight
there's
for resources itself is a waste of resources, and thus a more civil debate, fight, whatever, would be preferable to more people starving due to the wasted resources that we then lost.
there could still be lost food. There could still be fights over minerals, but at least I'd have internet connection all the time.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's the future of Ready Player One.
Oh gosh, yeah.
People live in basically slavery to the corporations.
Mhm.
But hey,
Classic dystopia.
yeah, but hey, the Wi-Fi signal's pretty damn strong.
I can get an Iron Giant scan for my VR model. Yeah. All I had to do is pay Facebook $20.
I mean, technically, if you're gonna follow the movie as a source, which I wouldn't, that character made the Iron Giant suit. They didn't. They
Mhm,
didn't
mhm.
buy it.
There's a lot I could say about VR, but that's not what this show's about. So,
God, if
uh,
only it were.
if only it
I
were.
guess that would
But we'll
be
we'll pick up
what.
another VR series at some
That
point
would be
here.
what Gundam Build Fighters. Is that VR?
I think so because it like happens
Or
virtually or
wait,
something.
Build Fighters Try. I think
Yeah.
we watched the trailers, so I thought we would remember, but apparently it's one of the one where they build the Gundams as like little toys and fight them in virtual reality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's going to be it for the discussion phase here. But before we get started, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment down below to feed that algorithm. Top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered, uncensored, and uncut, as well as some early access stuff, you can check it out over on the Patreon. It is $5 a month, but hey, no pressure. It's all to support the channel, just a little bit extra. We saved the city, everyone.
It's the Kingdom of Azatasan, and they said capital, but they didn't name the capital.
They're at least naming countries. Asking for cities is too much.
She's so popular, they have pictures of her in her house.
Just like any dictator.
Literally the opposite of what Ali says.
It's all those people trying to change things. That's their fault.
What a biting modern narrative that the Middle Eastern people would be upset by the United Nations being in their countries.
No one would ever oppose random force being in their country. Still looking for the leader.
状況は最悪ね。受信アンテナも破壊され、国連の技術者たちも撤退。しかもソレスタルビーイングにまで介入されて。
They started a conflict, they have the Celestial being interfering, and they still didn't get the power.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that is the
very-
worst.
Very weird. The soundtrack that's playing heavily reminds me of the first Babylon 5 movie in the beginning. That's the name of the movie, by the way, in the beginning. Not
It did.
in the beginning of the movie.
Did Babylon 5 start with burning cities?
It's the Earth Centauri War. Basically, we're losing, we're on the verge of extinction. And it's another alien leader telling, like, children the story of the war. And how, on the verge of extinction, we fought to the last man, basically. How noble it was to see us lay down our lives to try and save our wives and children.
Interesting.
And that's the music that kind of plays in the background as, like, scenes are playing of us doing that. Like, when they ran out of guns, they fought with swords and knives, and when they ran out of those, it was rocks and fists.
Yeah, so I definitely see the mood they're trying to set up with they're going for similar music. They want like that somber, oh right, a lot of people just died, huh? Kind of music.
Well, I mean, we got that at the end of last episode with Setsuna, like, staring down at the dead bodies who were just, like, firing rocket launchers and things.
Oh yeah, we got the tragedy already. We're good on that. We filled our murder quota.
Yeah, they sent waves and waves of their own men until the murder quota was filled.
アザディスタン王国で宗教的指導者マスード・ラフマディの誘拐に端を発する内紛が勃発した。
Stop
その
you
内
and
紛
aid.
が軍事クーデターにまで発展した段階でソレスタル・ビーイングはガンダムによる武力介入に踏み切る。戦術予報士スメラギ・リ・ノリエガが不在の状況で刹那 F セイエイとロックオンスト
Wait,
ラクス
without the
は
help? Did I
ア
miss
ザディ
something?
スタンの内紛を
Yeah, apparently she's AWOL.
I mean, we saw her drunk in the last episode, but...
Maybe that's why, yeah, she's just drunk somewhere else.
Sorry, we saw her drinking, not drunk.
アザディスタン側の要請を受けたユニオン、そして武力介入を行った俺たちの他に内戦を誘発している勢力がいる。
その勢力がマスード・ラフマディを拉致したと。
俺の勝手な推測だ
I
が、
also want to
レーダ
say
だってその可能性を示唆し
it
た。
was easier to connect from Witch from
その
Mercury
根拠は
because people talked like people and not
地震
narrative
アンテナの建
devices.
設現場で遠方からのミサイル攻撃があった。
Also
火力か
fair.
らしてモビルスーツを使用した可能性が高い。
モビルスーツを運用する組織一体何のために
わからんよ。だから刹那に調べに行かせた。この国で俺たちは目
They're
立つ。
they're just in the middle of their investigation. They're trying to figure this out. I guess this is a good path for celestial being, right? They're not just doing the armed invention. They're trying to figure out what's the source of it here. That's good.
So his entire locking up at the end of last episode meant nothing, apparently. He's walked up and walking about now.
Union?
回収したポットもそうだけど、この反応、やはり間違いないね。
奴らもここの
Hey, it's Graham, and...
PMC トラスト側の見解は
モラリアの紛争時に紛失したもん。なんだい
And Billy. It's Graham and Billy.
見つかった。
It's Billy Graham.
I guess you are native to this area. You can just you can just pretend to be a local kid.
Well, remember, he didn't take his helmet off that one time.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
nobody
he
knows who he
hasn't
is.
given it away yet.
Nobody knows who he is except for the princess, actually.
True.
この辺りはまだ危険だよ。
Because she was crying, and then he, like, whipped her tear away and threatened to kill her. Or something.
失礼します。
Graham immediately suspicious.
少年、君はこの国の内紛をどう思う？
グラハム
この国の内紛をどう思うかな？
僕は
客観的には考えられんか。
Just like an American in
君
the
は
Middle
どちらを
East.
支持する？
Quick, tell me your politics. Do you like being bombed by the Republicans or the Democrats?
でもこの戦いで人は死んでいきます。たくさん死んでいきます。
同感だな。
軍人のあなたが言うんですか？
この国に来た私たちはお邪魔かな？
だって 軍人がたくさん来たら被害が増えるし。
君だって
Well, I guess the
戦ってい
benefit
る
is they will suddenly increase, and then they will
後ろ
rather
に
suddenly
隠している
decrease.
ものは何かな
You.
怖い顔だ
Why didn't you just holster your pistol before you revealed yourself instead of hiding behind your back ready to kill him? Come on.
片桐一昨日ここから受信アンテナを攻撃した機体は au の最新鋭機イナクトだったな。
いきなり何を。
しかもその機体はモラリアの PMC から奪われたものらしい。撤収するぞ。
グラハム、なぜあんなことを。
さあ、なぜかな。
I mean,
口が滑ってる
because
し
we're
か言
ripping
えない
off earlier Gundam series. There's a rather famous scene where Amuro encounters a Zeon general in a bar, and the Zeon general decides that there's no reason why they should fight. So just let's have a conversation and talk about things.
On a mission, we're just gonna do it and leave, whatever. I think I like the one where Armoro has a flat tire, and then I think Char, right, replaces his tire on the road. Same concept. Oh, action's happening.
この辺りは改革派が多いんだと。モビルスーツじゃ対応が効かねえ。対人制圧用のオートマトンを出すよう要請するしか。
At least they recognize the thing that Celestial Being has yet to.
Anti-personnel suppression automatons. Have we seen ground robots yet?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
It was in episode 1. It was in this episode already.
I need to get a good clear picture of them. Or do you... Oh, those are the very large Gundams. Those are actually automated, right?
Well, they're not Gundams, apparently.
Yeah, the mobile suits. Okay. I thought those would be like, when they say ground suppression automatons, I was thinking something smaller.
They have anti-infantry weaponry on them, and not anti-mobile suit weaponry.
Their specialized purpose, as all military stuff is. Oh, oops, assassin.
The angle of a bodyguard's weapons were not pointed at the woman that they shot.
Like, consider your backfield a little bit. Your leader was right there. You could have accidentally shot him.
Literally,
Congratulations.
already regretting the death you see on screen, and now right in front of her face.
Yup. She's not having a good time.
そこに何がある？
ないかもしれない。だが可能性はある。
黙って待つよりマシか。了解だ、セツナ。
本論も連れて行ってもらいます？要人救出の役に立ちましたよ。
He's one I forgot about and did put in my face lineup.
GN システムリポート
All
解除。
along, I mean.
プライオリティをセツナ F 精鋭へ。
Oh man, cast ye in the name of God. Just call up the mobile suit whenever.
Full voice control of your Gundam. Hell yeah. Just pilot it from a distance. Alright, right hook. Now left sword.
Exia,
it's show time! That can't be comfortable.
Yeah, no, this is the worst position to be in. He's on hunger strike, man. You can't make him.
ほっとけほっとけ。敵の施しを受けたくねえんだろうよ。まったくこの国の奴らは融通が利かねえ。それしたらなんたらの横やりで段取りがぐちゃぐちゃだぜ。
大将、こちらに接近する機影があります。
ユニオンの偵察か。
違います。あの白いモビルスーツだ。
So is he gonna
Hey, it's
fight
dual
him?
parts too.
Well, is he gonna fight him or is he gonna try and reveal himself again?
Let's find out. He's got the opportunity to. Nobody else is watching. Except Graham.
Or Lock-On, who might be on his way as well.
Mobile Suit.
So apparently they have a readable reactor thing.
Yeah, I guess he was just offline, more or less. Makes sense.
Well, the text said mobile suit reaction.
そうかい。パイロットはやっぱ空実の。だったらこの隠れが分かっても不思議じゃねえな。まさかな。あの時のガキがガンダムに乗ってるとは。
Alright, well, he's already figured that out.
Common terminology in Gundam, it seems. That you ride a Gundam.
It's a fun bit of action right now.
Thank God lasers are so slow.
そんな義理はねえな。もったいないからその機体俺によこせよ。え？ガンダム！
Ah, yes, yeah, their demonstrated weakness so far, being grabbed and then just messed with.
Well, they'll leave the pilot's unconscious. I mean, obviously the thing to do would be jump backwards, jump the sword, grab the sword thing that the Gundam dropped, because it's probably also made of Gundam.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they have, like, custom grips or something.
No, it dropped it. It was behind it. But the other one was grabbing it. And then Han Long is dead.
It's okay, he has G Gundam Ninja energy.
Yeah, there's no reason why he shouldn't have been gunned down right there.
Alright, here we go. Perfectly understandable hostage situation. And sniper. Yeah, they don't even hesitate, jeez.
So his cockpit's open, he's not wearing a helmet. So any other sniper in the area, or a satellite with good imaging, 200 years advanced from our own, would be able to see him.
I find more hilarious the image of him with a rifle inside of his cockpit shooting from a Gundam that also has a rifle. Then again, giant laser would probably have killed everyone, so... So now there's gonna be 3 people who've met Gundam pilots. Or Setsuna in particular.
Well, he didn't take his helmet off this time.
なんという作戦だ。本当にあのような指示を出したのですか。一歩間違えればエクシアは。
これが一番確実な方法よ。
しかし、
僕はスメラギさんのプランに賛成。
Yeah, Exia could have actually been lost there for a moment.
見せつける必要があるのさ。それスタル
Yeah, I mean, like,
思いを。
stop opening your cockpits, guys.
Look, we have one basic rule around here, and that's keep it secret, yo.
王女には早期停戦に向けての会議を望む。以上です。
わかりました。至急会談の用意を。
かしこまりました。
マリナ様、確かに私は彼らの行いには賛同できない。罠である可能性だってある。でも、
I mean, it feels like the thing to do would be have the meeting first, and then prepare for the press conference, so that the extremists don't find out that he's there before you can talk to him.
Suppose so.
刮目させてもらおう、ガンダム。
I think more curiously, assuming celestial being is going to put you into a trap is also kind of silly given their stated goals and such, right?
Well, yeah, but celestial beings doesn't stop, like, a woman from walking into the room and pulling a gun, right? The extremists,
fair.
yeah, the
They're not
extremists have
bodyguards.
more ability to do things.
マリナ・イスマイル王女と保守派の宗教的指導者であるカタフ氏の会談が実現すればアザディスタンが内紛終結に向け動き出すことは間違いないと思われます
Or will splinter groups form with their own goals and motivations? Here's a comic relief. I don't mean to cast aspersions, but the Middle East has been a quagmire for thousands of years. I don't think you're gonna solve it with just two people sitting down.
To be fair, they're gonna solve today's conflict at least. This ain't 40k, there isn't only war.
By the way, that was
our
Gundam scene.
Gundam.
Yeah, there we go.
No, not him, the other guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You see him taking a picture of a butt? Literally right there, box over the Gundam butt.
Very important part of the Gundam, right there. Oh, hey, there's the splinter groups you talked about.
Literally said, you announce a meeting, the extremists are gonna show up. Oh, hand slap him! Hand slap him!
Oh my gosh!
It's very much a, don't kill yourself or we'll shoot you. Release the hostage or we'll kill him.
They already said it's unarmed. This is already excessive and pointless, right? This is just showing off to the world that Gundams are basically invincible. You could only harm your own reputation attacking Setsuna in the Exia right now.
Gundam.
And they give up. Yeah, fair.
And then they shot.
Ah, no, there was a sniper around there too. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, if they shot their anti-material rifles, right? They'd kill a Gundam pilot, and they'd capture a Gundam.
And of course kill both leaders of this country too.
Well, one of them. It's hard to tell.
I think they're in danger range for sure.
Sure. But the Union is right there to fly away with the Gundam.
Ah, you just said it out loud on national TV.
Please make sure it's your birthday so I can kill you. Allah? Was that his name?
Then it just floats off. Hey, he gets it. He understands.
Honestly, I think my plan was still the best. You're the only country in the area, right? With mobile suits. You kill the pilot right there, fly away, take it back to Union territory. You're now the only country on Earth with a Gundam.
Politically, it probably wouldn't be worth becoming the villain of the entire world, I'd say.
Politically, horrible. True.
Yeah.
militarily, you'd be like the only country on Earth with nukes, right? You'd have the only indestructible fighting machine controlled by a political entity.
Yeah, who would step up and claim that they did it, especially when Celestial Being will be on them? Celestial Being's weakness is, if there's a secret organization, they can't stage an attack on it.
I mean, what could we possibly do? They're the group that forced the IRA to surrender.
And no one beats the IRA, definitely
it's
not the
still the most insane aspect of this show.
I will keep it in my heart forever, honestly.
Well, but, it's just that, you know, the IRA's been under the thumb forever, and they're constantly fighting back, no matter what, even against, no matter how it makes them look, no matter how badly it hurts themselves, the IRA fights forever. So the first thing that we do in this show, to show how bad it is to fight against the Celestial Being, the IRA just fucking surrenders.
All I can think of with, like, the IRA technically still existing 200 years in the future is, like, damn, Brexit really just was horrible, wasn't it?
I mean, I don't think that has anything.
This was made before Brexit was even a talking point.
Well, no, I think I've mentioned it before, a book called Flash Forward, where, was it like Quebec? There's a Quebec movement to make them to break away.
Yeah, you mentioned this one.
Yeah, and then they get a flash forward of something like 50 to 100 years in the future, and they're still resisting. And it's like, that was enough to break their spirit.
Oh, we're getting like a full-scale conflict between national blocks? Okay.
Did I misread? I thought it said that they united to fight. Again.
They're starting a conflict by holding a military exercise is what I read there, right?
Right. So that they're uniting to fight against the Meisters. Again.
Initiate a conflict by holding a joint military exercise. What crosses their minds as they head to their place of death. Oh gosh, yeah, That's some brutal language right there.
So for the, second time now, we're gonna get 3 nations forming up in a military exercise to fight the Meisters.
I guess this is going to be the episode of, do the Gundams in fact have the ability to face off against literally the entire planet at once?
They did this before already, remember? And the Meisters won.
I thought before that was basically like an air show.
No, you're thinking about episode 1. I can't remember how many episodes back it was. It was at a giant tower structure that all 3 nations sent a bunch of units together obstinately to fight some sort of uprising. And then the Meisters sent in forces to both fight the United Front of Nations and the uprising. I think it was from an episode that we had a group called the Tigers or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a minute. It's kind of out of my brain a bit.
It would have been a South American thing. In my head, I have a hard time parsing where the fight's going on because I think it was South American, but in my head, for some reason, it was an Australian thing.
It could be anywhere. They've been everywhere. But I guess more the point of, I guess my interpretation of that is that the 3 nations are going to maybe fight, but I think yours is probably more correct. They're setting up to give an excuse for Celestial Being to come down, and then we'll try doing their capture again. Maybe they'll bring a net this time.
I said all they do is knock them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You knock out one of the pilots, and you get away with the ship for it until they wake up. Yeah, they gotta restrain them somehow. They need... Well, see, the thing is, we never saw Exia pick up its sword, right? It dropped its sword, the other one pinned it to try to rip open its cockpit. And then the next time we see Exia, it's only got one sword. So, conceivably, the one Gundanium sword is still sitting in that town. And
the only people who are aware of it is like the person who fled. Fled, yeah. Tense.
Anyway,
what are word tenses?
My idea would be that if we can break down the material, we could make a Gundanium rope. So that we can tie the arms together so the thing can't fight back once we capture it.
Honestly, Gundanium rope, or like GN particle infused rope, probably makes the most sense here. Like, they've demonstrated that they're at least doing research over in the Union, right? They're talking about it, they know the scientists, they know the science. They could probably engineer up something simple like that, right? And I would not be surprised.
The ridiculousness comes back that 200 years later, now we're doing research again.
Well, it clearly didn't. Well, they have the iPhone 11. Why does technology need to advance beyond that?
It's like the scientist was famous enough that the moment the dude came up on screen, just people at random were like, "That's that guy who died 200 years ago." Name one.
That's Albert Einstein. Why is he up there?
Griff, name one scientist from 200 years ago.
From 200 years ago. How far back can we go? I don't think Ada Lovelace is old enough.
Literally 200 years ago is as far back as you can go.
Ada how old is that? Typing is bad.
You know, by the fact of you typing stuff in, looking it up, anything you say after Adam Lovelace is automatically disqualified.
Nope, there we go. Born 1815, died 1852.
All right, what's he famous for?
Computer science.
Cool. And then nobody did any research in the field of computer science after he died, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. Nobody's like cared about what those computer things are. Or calculations or computations or algorithms.
I can't even think of what computer science he would have done, considering like the Enigma machine is the most complex. Sorry, not the Enigma machine. The British one that they designed to defeat the Enigma machine is the most complex early style computer I can think of. And that was just basically the diodes that were basically binary. Like the diodes are like that big that only computed binary 1 and 0.
Yeah, those are the old like vacuum tube kind of things you're thinking about there.
Yeah, they're massive.
Which I don't think were even in existence.
That's what I'm saying, is I can't comprehend what computer science he did 100 years before that most basic computer part.
The answer is math.
Oh, you mean like
They are Ada Lovelace is the first computer programmer.
Wait. What was the movie called? Hidden Figures, where the black women that were computers for NASA, in that they were computers in the literal sense, that they did computation.
Right. You'd hire someone who has a math degree to do math for you.
Right, so we're in the confusing state of words having different meanings.
No. Lovelace is in fact a person who pushed forward the field of computer scientists, particularly in developing different algorithms and ways to do programs.
Right. In math, not in modern computer science, which is a
there was slightly more theory to it than
which was a
execution.
technological/engineering field, which is why I'm saying different definitions of words. Arguably, computational science and computer science are different things. One can exist within the other, but one existed without the other.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say, if we want to do like computer science and a whole presentation about people, we could do that sometime. But focusing on Gundam here.
That was entirely about Gundam, in that it's ridiculous that 200
Yeah,
years went by.
let's draw it back. It seems ridiculous that there's this big breakthrough and then no one did anything about it for 200 years.
They didn't even exploit the advances that were made. Like, oh, that's cool. What is that? Indefeatable particles? Yeah, I'm sure the military complex has nothing to do with that.
We need to get the episode of exposition about what happened in his life and how that scientist led to the foundation of celestial being, which now has Gundams.
Can't wait for the next comments to come in about how stupid we are. And that was 100% told to us in episode 2.
Oh, right. Episode 2, they actually went on about the entire technological basis of the year 2200.
No, I'm talking about probably the news reporter talking about how the hell is a guy from 200 years ago talking to us.
I think that was pre-recording, they decided later, or something, right? I don't know.
I enjoy how so preposterous this notion is, you now have hiccups.
Alright, so before I hiccup myself to death here, that's going to be it for Stone Face Reaction for today, everyone. I'm Griffin, that's Theta, and we'll catch you next time. See you around. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone Face Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?